All right, welcome to the Level Up Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, John Knott. I got my analysts for today, Wes, CJ, James, and we're going to get into some talk with the NFL as well as the NBA playoffs. Starting off the show, though, the first question we have is going to be selected to Wesley. And the question is, what is the most improved team from the NFL draft, and which team stuck out or struck out completely? Who you got, Wes?
Well, the easiest answer is going to be the Chicago Bears. Uh, um, but I'm going to go out and just say the Commanders. I like what the Commanders did by going out, also running in with going for the cornerback and defense and get some veterans in. I think they're much more improved. Their defense was fairly decent last year, and I think it's just going to continue with their free agents that they've added. But I like the balance that what Dan Quinn did, the ownership with their draft picks for sure.
All right. All right. The next part of that question is going to we'll go to James. What do you got on that, James?
Well, this one is a tough one. Kind of looked at Carolina. I thought Carolina did not really. The thing with Carolina is they didn't really have a draft pick, but they, made some moves to end up getting some draft pick. But they did pretty good. So I'm gonna have to probably look at Los Angeles Raiders. I would say the Raiders didn't, do too well because I think the Raiders, instead of picking up positions where they really needed to help the team, it seemed like they kind of went for. I think the number 13 pick was Brock Bowers. They went for that. I really, honestly, I thought they really need to be focusing on um, probably the defense a little bit. I mean, I know they had a good running game. They had some receivers, but they wasn't promising at quarterback, and the defense probably could use a little bit of work. But they look like they really kind of focused more on, you know, um, the offensive line and picking up Brock Bowers at tight end. I mean, that was a good pick good pick as far as, talent wise, but was it a need? So I guess there's a few teams you could really say. It's hard to say which one's more disappointing, depending if you're if you're a fan,
Right.
but maybe the Raiders to me might have, kind of missed the mark.
All right. And who you have on that question, CJ?
Um, at least for the most improved, I guess. I mean, we'll just go with the obvious. Let's just say easily Chicago improved greatly due to the draft and whatnot, and how they came out getting their quarterback. They got some receivers. They got all the skill positions that they needed to get covered for them. Now, is it going to play out greatly? We don't know. But I mean, we could say for at least what they did from the draft, they did improve, improve. So we're gonna see where that goes to. Which team can completely struck out? Man, a couple teams could have a bite of this apple, but I would probably say the team that probably struck out on this one would probably be. I said, and it's not because I'm a Dallas hater, but you know what I'm saying. It's that Dallas just likes to be in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? They always in my crosshairs. But hey, you can only do what you can do. But Dallas, yeah, definitely struck out for me.
All right. On this question, as some of you guys, I don't know if anybody else has said Kansas City. I think I've said it before that Kansas City didn't have a whole lot of weaknesses last year. At least defensively, was pretty sound. The main thing they wanted to get, they want to bring their defensive tackle back. They did that and they lost Snead, but I mean they picked up with a cornerback in the draft, so they also got a receiver in Worthy out of Texas. So I think to me it was a little bit more easier for them to do. They only had really a couple question marks to do, and that was cornerback, and then going with the receiver to make sure that they solidify that area because that was their weakness last year. We can pretty much say they lost. I know in one game on Monday Night Football that lost the game with Valdez Scantling going down the middle of the field. And he drops it, wide open pass. That was kind of their year up until that point. The team that I said struck out completely, and it kind of sucks to me, the quarterback. I got Carolina Panthers, and that's dealing with Bryce Young being sacked 62 times. 35 of them was inside, and the only thing that they said they picked up was a couple of linemen. They weren't. I didn't see anything that was, dazzling about the linemen that they picked up, but the 35 that came from the inside, you would think that they would come up with a center or a guard, like, in the first or second round or so, but I didn't see that. And so I think they're going to have some major problems, the same problems they had last year. Not saying that their league is, just out of the box going to get after them, because you do have some aging pass rushers out of the Saints. You have Tampa Bay. I don't see any, just major hitter pass rushers on that team, but I still say the teams they're going to have to go against in the league, they're going to knock them out. I think pretty fast. And Bryce, I don't even really think we're going to get a chance to see him at his full potential if they don't fix that glaring problem. But nevertheless, we'll go to go ahead.
Hey, so I actually didn't mention the who had the best. I think we covered this up previously too, but the Eagles did have a pretty good draft. They picked up 2 corners, that they needed. Trying to work on that defense because they struggled. So I think the Eagles definitely, had a great draft. For my good one.
I would agree too. If I didn't say Kansas City, it would definitely have been the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I didn't mention, but I agree with James. I totally agree that the Raiders struck out there. I mean, they didn't go after the quarterback. Madison's no Jacobs. So, I'd like to see Bowers is a good athlete. I'd like to see what they do with him. Perhaps they, set him up more as a wide receiver. Who knows? But they definitely struck out in my book.
All right. So we're going to go with some NBA talk on the second question. I'll start this one off. And the question is what should Bronny James do after the combine workouts / what should the Lakers do in terms of picking him up? Now, for those that don't know, I am a Lakers fan. However, me in this case, and I'm thinking strictly as of Bronny, not as of what LeBron James wants. Me personally, I mean, he really didn't get a chance to showcase himself in the limited bit of time in the lineup that he had at USC. I personally would say, because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews going around with reporters saying that he could, possibly go get picked in the second round of the draft. That would be in 55th, maybe by the Lakers, possibly. I say that he should go back to school at least for just one more year. He has until May 29th he makes that choice up. And I don't know if he's just not satisfied with USC, because I also seen reports that he might want to get transferred if he decides to go back to school. But me personally, I think that it's best for him go back 1 year, solidify yourself as the position that you want to play, which is pretty much like a combo guard. I would do that. I mean, in terms of his measurements, he did show up as 6'1", pretty solid. He held his own in the limited time that he did, do the combine in. So I don't think he has a weakness as far as strength and his holding his own. But I just don't see it, man, where he's going to come out and be able to be an impact player in the NBA on a team right now, just because of the sake that you're LeBron James' son. That's just me. We're going to go to CJ on that follow-up.
Oh man, hey bro, I was just talking about him the other day, bro. So for the most part, man, he's listed at 6'1". He's listed at 6'1". Kyrie 6'2". Now, some of the guys that are short, that are small at that point guard size, are great at something. Kyrie, great at handles, finishing left and right. You know what I'm saying? Good mid range. Steph Curry, great shooter, good running off the ball and stuff like that. Bronny, for me, is again undersized, and it's some of them, they're saying it right. I agree with you, John, that he needs to stay another year. The reason why American players or European players are so much better than American players is because college you have to still study. You still got to put in that time. You don't get to play against quality athletes all the time. Euro, they could like Luca did. Them guys over there, they can play against quality type competition. You know what I'm saying? From when they 16, 17, 18. Bronny just needs another year. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying as of what you said, he won't be somebody. He won't make a team great right away. Like if you took him to a team right now, he will be a development. You'll have him in the D League. You'll have him playing down there, playing against other players. So again, I would just have him. I would sit back another year, work on your craft, work on your craft. They said his ratings went up after the combine little competition or whatever. Cool, that's no problem. But you're not the best. If you want to make sure, I would say go back, polish it up more at USC, and then come back next year.
All right, we'll go to James next.
Hey, so a lot of you guys are pretty much saying the same thing, and I'm thinking of that too. I think, yeah, he probably should go back to school for another year. Originally, I wasn't thinking like that, but that it does make sense. Go back to school, work on his craft. You know, he was listed as 6'4" in USC. Apparently, that wasn't the case. So now he's listed as 6'1", and I'm sure he's probably wearing a couple extra soles in his shoes too to be a 6'1". But
Right
look,
in the combine, they make you take your shoes off. So, yeah.
So, but I think he probably wants to come get in the league soon. I think it's probably that thing of playing father and son. I think that's probably just the hype of that. But I'm sure he'll come in. I'm sure come in the league. I'm sure he will not go back to school because of the I don't want to call it a pressure, but the thing of wanting to play father and son. Yeah, he probably goes second round and probably end up Lakers picking him because it won't be you're not going wasting any picks or you're not losing anything to pick him up in a second round. But if you look at the combine, he shot 19 or 25 from three, great or whatever. He jumped 40.5 inches, which was fourth. But yeah, looking at all that, that doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, okay, great. He could jump. We know he could dunk the ball. There's a lot of athletes who could jump, and dunk the ball, but that doesn't mean nothing. And shooting 3-pointers when it's not contested don't really mean nothing neither. So I don't really see if a team really try to jump and try to take him at a high draft spot. I think you'll just be wasting your time. You'll be wasting a pick. You could never really what's the word? You can never really put value on players when it comes to draft, but typically we know with the draft, people like to pick up bigger players, bigger guards. Unless you're one of those type of guards that's really like Kyrie Irving, when you really kind of show. Some of these guys they really show. Like I don't think Steph Curry. Nobody really talked much about him. But when he came to the league, he continued to work on his craft, man, and you see how deadly of a shooter he was. Now, is Bronny that type of shooter? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's that type of shooter. So I think he needs to put in some work, going back to school, showing people who you are and what you can do, on the court. I think it's important too, for him to really show that he can really play at a very high level in college. Because in college, for me, I don't really pay attention to a whole lot of, college basketball. I'm kind of start watching here and there. But at the same time, the players that stand out, I always hear. I always see on ESPN, always see highlights. I didn't even know this dude was really in college playing ball until towards the end they talk about, the draft for him. So just being honest here, I think he probably just needs to go back and just, show his craft, show that he's good enough to be a top elite player in the league.
All right. What do you say about it, Wes?
Well, I mean, he almost died for one. So it took him a while to get back on the court. The doctors, they had to give him the okay. And I've played collegiately and I've been hurt, and it is a long process. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine that the psyche you have every time you step on the court, thinking, "Hey, if today's the day when I just go into cardiac arrest again, or what's going on there." But yeah, he's right. CJ's right. He's 6'1". Normally, if you're 6'1", you better be a glove. I mean, or you got to have some major handles.
Right.
And I didn't see it. The 2 games he played at the combine, he was 2 of 9 from 3. That's not going to cut it right there. So either you're a glove on defense, you got hellacious skills, or you're banging some dimes out there, and he did neither. So USC, or maybe check out Long Beach State. I don't know, but get another year in, get maybe, who knows, he grows 2 or 3 more inches. The average height in the NBA is 6'6.5". So maybe he'll get a little taller in another year. Maybe he'll widen out, get a little stronger. But we know it's LeBron's dream for him to play, but we don't know it's Bronny's dream for him to play with the dad.
Right.
So so who knows? We might see him in a Chinese uniform or a league or Europe, whatever he decides. But either way, he's set for life because his last name's James. So we'll see what he wants to do.
All right. So we'll go on to the. You got something?
How many points he scored his freshman season? 4.8 points a game. 4.8 points per game. Yeah, 4.8 points per game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You shouldn't even be getting drafted, honestly.
Let's be real. Nobody is coming out of college being drafted. Now you may go undrafted, and then you work your way into some type of program, whether it's overseas, and then you work your way back in. But nobody with that stat line.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? But because it's LeBron James' son, they talking about
that was ring. Oh, hey, LeBron. Yeah, we can get him in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's 4.8 points a game. Yeah, no problem. His last name is James. We could get him in. Yeah.
The one thing I will say before we go to the next question, I will say I'm glad when the reporters asked him, he answered and said, I know that's my father's, want is for him to go in the league, but he spoke about what he really wanted to. He spoke about, being drafted by what team feels like he's going to be a good player. And that may not be the Lakers. And we'll see if that holds true, if the Lakers get him or somebody else takes a chance on him. All right. So question number 3, we'll go back to the NFL. And this past week, the release of the NFL schedule came out on Wednesday. And so with the recent release of the NFL schedule, how many wins or losses do you see your NFL team having? All right, and I'll start this one off. This was actually Amon's question, who's not with us on the show today. But my team is Green Bay Packers. And with the Green Bay Packers, I had these wins that we were going to be playing. Everybody knows we play in our division. We have the Lions, we have the Vikings, we have the Bears twice. We have on the schedule, I have the Colts, beating the Colts, the Titans. I have us beating the Vikings twice because they do have a rookie quarterback. That's 4 wins. The Cardinals we have, that's 5. Beating the Lions 1 time would be 6. I say we beat the Bears twice, which would be, that would be 8. And then I have us beating the Saints, which would be 9. And I got us winning with a record of 10-7, winning a game on the road against the Seahawks to end that out. So I got the Green Bay Packers going 10-7, which would be 1 improved win from what we had last year. We ended 9-8 record. Beat the Cowboys, and we lost a tough one against 49ers, which we actually played well all the way to the end of the game. And Jordan Love throws the interception, so that's end of that. But I think he does improve, and I think with what we have and what we drafted, I believe that we will get better, at least a game better, and I got us going 10-7. So the next one I have up for this question, Wes, what do you have for your team with the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, so I've got Atlanta going 10-7 as well. I've got them winning the NFC South. So,
okay, 10-7. Now is that
I
with?
Think it's going to happen. I think
is that with Kirk Cousins or is that with Penix?
That's with Cousins. That's with
Okay,
Cousins.
okay. I got you. All right.
Yeah, but you know what? If he's trading, he goes to wherever. They'll probably be 10-7 too.
All right. James, who
But no, I
you got
like
some?
the Falcons, man. I like the Falcons this year. I just see
Okay.
what I got a little more deep.
All right, James, who you have?
So, you guys got me looking at these games, man. Y'all disappointing me. I have my Jets going at least 11-6 before the season even started. I'm thinking we're either going to win that division by that one game tiebreaker, or we end up going to be second, behind probably the Dolphins. But now I'm looking at this schedule, and I'm like, I have to be honest with myself. It looked like it could be a 10-7, because we're gonna lose to one of these teams, because we play a couple of teams twice. First game's 49ers. I'm looking, we probably lose that first game against that Giant, and then it looked like we could win the next 4 games, and then Bills might be a challenge where we take second loss. Steelers and Seahawks is the ones that I expect to win those. That'll take us to 11-6, but with those teams, those are fighters, and we might lose one of those. So I have to leave room to say 10-7. And I'm looking that we might take an L on the Texans, because them guys are gonna be a power horse. And then looking at here, we split with the Dolphins, we split with the Bills, Jaguars. We could even take a loss on that one, because we know they're good and they can play with the best of them. So if we make up the difference and we lose to either Seahawks or Steelers, we're gonna hopefully pick up the Jaguars. We still might finish 11-6. So let me stick with my 11-6 instead of 10-7. But 10-7 is realistic, but I'm gonna go hopeful 11-6, which is not what I originally had them. And that's a 3-game swing. If we go 10-7, that's a 4-game swing if we go 11-6. So
All right, that's
that's
good. I mean, one thing is, I guess, for for the Jets, seeing how Aaron Rodgers is coming out of the gate, how he plays, it's one thing, and we know he's a great, but it is another thing when you haven't played in NFL experience in a game in
exactly.
so many days. But if anybody can do it, I believe it'd be him.
Yeah.
All right, CJ, who you got?
All right. I got the Washington Commanders. You know what I'm saying? So this year,
4-13. No, I'm just playing.
this year, man. Hey, man, I think we got Rookie of the Year, man, right here. Rookie of the Year candidate. I got us going 10-7. Because the schedule is actually pretty weak in a certain sense. We got the Buccaneers. I feel like we'll beat the Buccaneers. I feel like we'll beat the Giants. I say we're gonna beat the Giants both times. We got the Bengals. That's a loss. Cardinals. I say that should be a win. Browns loss. Ravens loss. Panthers. That should be a win. The Bears. I say we beat the Bears.
Okay.
No. Did I say it? No, I think I said the Bears. We was gonna lose to the Bears. Cool, but we'll beat the Giants, and then we'll beat the Steelers. Lose to the Eagles. We'll split with the We're gonna split with the Eagles. We'll split with the Cowboys. We'll split with the Cowboys. We'll take down the Titans.
Yeah, you got at New Orleans.
At the New Orleans, I think that was a win. Eagles, that's a loss.
And you got
Falcons.
Wes's Dirty Birds. Okay.
Yeah, I said we'll lose that one, and then like I said, we'll get the split with the Cowboys. So it should. When I ran the numbers, man, I came to 10-7. When I came up to 10-7.
Okay.
So it's I think they got a defensive wise, we're okay. It was the offense. It was the offense that was just sorely hamstring with some consistency. So hopefully Jaden Daniels can get us there with that, and we don't have to play against no real powerhouses.
Mm-hmm. Hey, CJ, I like that. 10-7 look good for y'all, but I'm gonna cost y'all a loss for stupidity, because y'all always make dumb mistakes. So let's just go 9-8.
Bro, who you say? Yeah, 9-8. Yeah, I can see it. Hell, it might be 8. can't be 8-9 the way they be playing, coming up with some bonehead decisions. So
Hey, well, I'll give it. If anybody, I mean that this is the second go around, and I just say for Dan Quinn, he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. Should have won it, but we'll talk about that for another day. We've already talked about that several times since that game is over with. But I do think he's learned a lot from being in Dallas, especially defense. He helped their defense out tremendously from when he got there till when he left.
yeah.
So we'll see how he, gets them to have a new type of culture there and changes the mindset for the Commanders going forward. All right, so we'll go to question number 4 now, and this is back with the NBA. CJ, you'll start this one off. And the question is, out of the teams left in the NBA playoffs, who has the best 1 and 2 combo and why? Who you got for that, CJ?
Man, the best 1-2 combo.
Mhm.
Me personally, I would say, and we don't even know if they're gonna make it, but they still in it right now. Is Kyrie and Luca.
Oh, we know they're in. They got finished yesterday.
Yeah, they're in. Yeah, it's
They're
4-2.
in. They're done.
Oh yeah,
It's 4-2.
yeah. They did. Yeah, they did lock it. They did lock in. So yeah. So Kyrie and Luca to me is probably one of the most dynamic duos that's left. You can't for Boston people would say Tatum and Brown. Um, um, I think the Knicks lost. The Pacers. I don't know who their 1-2.
The only combo you would have for the Pacers, they're really you have a 1 with Halliburton who
Yeah,
scores about 20 points this postseason.
but it's a team. They're more like a
The
team. Like they
duo
said.
is not there. They're not consistent with a second player.
Mhm.
Yeah. So then you're left with then you're left with the Timberwolves and then the Denver. Now we see the both combinations, the Joker and
Jamal Murray.
Murray.
Murray, and then you got uh, Anthony Edwards and Townsend on the other side.
Mhm.
But again, if I had to say, if I was ranking them, it would probably be I would still go like I said, Kyrie and Luca. Then I say Joker and Murray, and then Anthony Edwards, Townsend. No, my fault. Uh, Joker, Murray, Boston, Tatum and Brown. Then
Okay.
Anthony Edwards and Townsend.
All right. Who do you got on that, James?
Hey, you know what? I was first originally Luca and Kyrie came to mind as the best duo probably left in the playoff. But then I went to the other side. I'm like, oh, that's right, the Celtics. Sometimes we just forget that
Yeah,
Brown and Tatum is just, those players, you can't really guard those guys, man. And it's the same thing on the other side too with Kyrie and Luca. You can't really guard those guys. But I'm gonna say with Boston, they're the best duo left with those two because Boston seems like, man, they look, Dallas is tough all of a sudden, but I think Boston's just a little bit tougher. I think probably the experience that they have from being in the championships not too long ago, and they're hungry, and here they go coming right back again. So I'll say that duo because you can't guard. I think Tatum the other day he had an interview. He said, "Yeah, this dude can't guard me." I can't remember who he said, but he said he can't guard me, and I know he's right. He ain't lying. It's hard to really guard that guy. I think if anything, if you kind of look how he play in the playoffs, he seemed like he plays even better than he plays in the regular season. So I'm gonna just go on a limb and just say Tatum and Brown is probably the best duo, but it's not by much. If it's by anything, it's really just really experience that they had in the finals, and I think that's gonna get them over the hump to be the Super Bowl champs if Nuggets don't make it. I think. I don't know.
Okay. All right, Wes, who do you have in that out of those as your best duo left in the postseason?
Yeah, so I'm with Joker and Jamal, and you know, uh, I like Luka and I like Kyrie as well. But if Joker Jamal and Luka and Irvin and Anthony Towns and Edwards are the ones that aren't scoring, then who else picks up? And that's where the strength of the Celtics and the Pacers we're seeing right now. I think overall, I mean, they got 6 guys on the Pacers and 6 guys on the Celtics that are double digits. I think averaging in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's tough to beat, but it's completely up. It's tell of two tells, right? Like who steps up, who's going to make the shots. If Jamal's making shots tonight, it's going to be tough on the Wolves. But if he's not, then hell, the Wolves are probably going to sneak in, and that's who's going to match up against Luka and them. So, but again, Luka and Kyrie, if they're having an off night, it's who's picking the slack up. So, I mean, overall, I think probably the most dynamic duo we have going forth is Brown and Tatum, because it seems like they're on every night. I mean, and then not only them, but they got other pick it up, and their defense is pretty lights out as well, especially with their length that they show.
All right, so we got that's so James, you said Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
CJ, you said it, Kyrie and Luka, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Wes, and your two are Tatum. You would
Tatum
say
and Brown.
Okay, so I think we about even out. So I got Luka and Kyrie as well. And the reason being is this. Let's look at the matchup of what it could be. Let's just say, for example, if the Dallas Mavericks have to play the Nuggets right now, who's guarding Luka? Would it probably be Aaron Gordon, would y'all say, or would it be Porter? It really doesn't matter. That guy right now, they're gonna give him a day to rest. I don't see anybody with the length that Luka has, and he can turn his back to you. He can face up. He can shoot 3. He can get you in the post. That right there is, I think, is out of this year. This is the best that they played together, which I know they haven't been there that long. But then you put Kyrie. Kyrie is, if they're trying to double team Luka, he can actually, he's 1-on-1, and he can actually have the handles enough to get to the paint, or he can kick out to the 3 shooters that they do have. And what makes it a lot easier for both of those guys is the new pickups that they have with PJ Washington have definitely come on this playoff, as well as Lively as well. So they really have surprised me when they made that. I know James had said on another show we had, he made the statement that they really have picked up with those 2 guys that they picked up at the deadline for the trade. I wasn't expecting these guys to be that great, but man, I don't know. I don't know if any other team has made a better pickup at the trade deadline than those 2 guys for the Mavericks. So
on the flip side, who's Luka guarding?
Huh?
I said on the flip side, who's Luka guarding shutting down?
We already know Luka may not guard as much as some of the other guys, but actually, I've seen a few plays this year. Luka's actually been playing better defense.
Yeah, he has.
Like at first when he got in the league, it was just like offense is my game. But as of late, he's actually starting to play better defense.
Tell you the truth, I think Luka will probably guard either Michael Porter, or if it's gonna be Denver, it'll probably be Michael Porter or Jamal Murray. Now, because Kyrie probably gonna play the point, and him and Mike Conley is gonna be going back and forth. You see what I'm saying? Luka's height just makes him where you could play him 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So you said Mike Conley's on the Wolves, so you're switching
right
teams.
if that happens to go to that matchup,
yeah. If you want Denver, right?
Yeah. Okay.
If you did it that way, I think most of us
so it'd be Kyrie.
That the Nuggets are going to win. I take it.
Kyrie's playing Murray. Kyrie playing Murray, and Luka match up with probably Porter. But on defense, they're probably going to put Gordon on Luka. So
Yeah.
Luka might
I
play
agree.
Porter, but Gordon's gonna play
yeah,
Luka.
but like you said, I don't think that. Truth be told, like I said, there's nobody that can really guard Luca and his step backs, his post game, everything, and
But
then
but check
and
but check this out, right? Now that's why they're gonna put Gordon on him. Gordon is strong. Gordon got a body. He's
Yeah.
quick. He's athletic. So
Mhm.
he's not gonna bully Gordon trying to back him up. And on top of that too, he does that step back. They're gonna watch film. Gordon's gonna push up. He's gonna because if you watch what he does, Luca, he pushes a lot of these offensive players down. They push with the shoulder and then they do a step back. That's how they
Right.
get so much open space. You talk about offense. Offense is
Mhm.
a cheat code now when you're able to push off and then take 2 steps back. Come
well,
on.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Gordon with his men, go
yeah,
ahead.
they calling. They've been calling that little push, that little
Yeah,
shove
they
that you're
caught it
talking
one
about.
time. Yeah,
They've been
they caught it
calling it.
one time
They
on
called it
on
in that
Yeah.
Denver and Minnesota game.
yeah, they caught it one time on Luca.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was mad. They caught it one time, but they need to start paying attention to that. But Gordon, with his long reach, he's gonna try to recover and still push forward, and still gonna make it a tough one for him. He's gonna launch forward because that as long as Gordon plays smart defense and not launching into him to foul, as long as he put that hand up, hopefully he still could be an effect.
Go
But
ahead.
I think it's gonna be a good matchup though.
Go ahead, Wes. You had something you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's the over under on Luca arguing with the refs? We're going to set that at 10 or
Yo, he's
Who
always
had
gonna
this?
be talking to the ref.
Oh yeah, he the other day, man.
he's,
I was just amazed at how much
he's
he was
just
talking to the ref.
snowbird.
Yeah,
Every time he's in the back car, everybody's pushing up front, and he's just
yeah. He's
Hey,
gonna have to focus. Yeah,
yeah.
he's gonna have to focus. All right, so we'll go to the last question we got for the day. Now I'll go to James starting off. This question is, and we've been talking about him, so we're gonna end it out with him with this question here. Does Dallas have what it takes to win the Western Conference? If so, who do they have the best chance against between the Wolves and the Nuggets? So we were kind of talking about that just a minute ago. Who do you think they got a better chance against, James?
man, this is crazy. Like I said, Dallas is looking good, but the T-Wolves and Nuggets is gonna be a tough matchup. Either team. And the funny thing is, I said whatever team make it to the championship from the Western Conference will win it because the Timberwolves show that they're good. They show that their defense is there. But after watching the Nuggets series all the way up to this Game 7 coming up, Boston may have a chance if they were to play the Timberwolves. But for the Mavs, I think they probably want to face the Timberwolves for some reason. I think that might be their better matchup because I don't think nobody wants to say, yeah, I want to play Joker. I want to face Joker. So I think the better matchup might be better for them would be the Timberwolves. So I think that's for many reasons. I think they can definitely they got the size and the guys to match up with Ant, and they got also the size to match up with well, actually when it comes to center wise, it's gonna be hard for any team to match up with Gobert and Towns. But nonetheless, I think they have size enough to try to match up with them. Um, so it's a hard decision, man. I don't even know why I thought about this question, but if not, I think their best chance is the Timberwolves. I don't know.
All right. So what do you got on that, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with James 100%. I mean, I think if anything, they would probably have a better chance with the Wolves, just being that they're a young team as well, and that they're inexperienced. But I mean, heck, I wouldn't want to go up against either of them.
I know.
But it's rough. It is an uphill climb for Dallas for sure. And I mean, it's just devil's advocate at this point.
Gotcha. And who do you have on that, CJ?
Now, just listening to both James and Wes, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. To be honest, I think they got a better chance. They want to play Denver. Reason being is because even though we're talking about Minnesota, Minnesota has in the playoffs, has been the best defensive team, period, out of either conference. East and West. So, but they show that they do have spurts where their offense does get off track. Now, the Dallas ain't a defensive team, but they're an offensive juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? So, and the mismatch that I think that Kyrie and Luka can exploit with Denver is better over there. Because, like I said, if you look at Denver, if Joker and Murray, like I said, Joker and Murray, that's if you said it the other night, John, if Aaron Gordon don't go off or Michael Porter Jr. don't go off, they lose some of them games that they ended up winning. Even though Joker may have had a great night, even though Murray may have had a great night. I think that for Luka and Kyrie, with them, how they handle and how they switch back and forth, I think that the matchup between them and Denver is a little bit more closer than you think, than having to go up against Minnesota and them Twin Towers down low. Now, because Joker is who he is, now for him, he doesn't mind that, because Rudy Gobert is just a standing piece to him. He could go left or right with him. But every other team in the league can't do that with Rudy Gobert. That's just Joker. So that's why I sit there and say that, yeah, it probably would be better for Minnesota that's not strong with a big man down low, take on Denver, and then just handle Joker and Murray.
Okay. Well, I think that for it really is like flipping a coin with them. I put it like this. If the main thing that Dallas wants to do is get inside points, and that's one thing I probably want to look at. If their main thing is to get inside points, or they're trying to get outside points. If they're trying to go against and getting their outside points, they're probably gonna want to go against, I would say, maybe Minnesota has a better chance, because if they're trying to go inside against Minnesota with Gobert and Towns, I don't think that's gonna happen. And just think, the MVP for 3 years it was Jokic, and Minnesota has they've done a pretty good job. They were frustrated in the first 2 games that got 2 wins. Then Denver got on their, game. But after that, they got their, the last game they got at that. I pretty much say they probably would want to play, Minnesota, just because they can get a lot more outside shots. I think for what fits their game, they can drive in a little bit, they can kick back out, or they can post up maybe Luka on a mismatch, and that's probably where they're going to get their points at. Everything else, I mean, you think about Minnesota, that's another thing though. They're linked. They have linked, even at the guard level.
Mm-hmm.
Only person you have a mismatch is Mike Conley. So we shall see how it goes. And I know this game comes up in a few minutes. Go ahead, you have something, Wes?
I was just saying both offenses are very similar between the Mavs and Timberwolves. Think about it. I mean, they're just very high volume. So I mean, they like to push it and they like to put up the shots. So
yeah, but the Timberwolves have been playing the best D by far though. So
the whole season they've been the best defensive team in the NBA.
Yeah, so, and that's why I sat there and say, that's why I said Luka and them might not want to go against them boys. They might not be able to hang with them defensively like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right. Well, that will close out it for the show for today. Until next time, man, you guys have a blessed evening.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate y'all.